So here's my new radiator. This came in the mail today, not from Advanced Auto Parts. The one from Advanced Auto Parts was the wrong one. I ordered one with metal tanks, and they gave me one with plastic tanks. And then I said, well, I need the metal one. They said, well, we can't get it, even though it's clearly what you ordered. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll use it to get back to school. And then they didn't have a radiator cap that fit it because it was different than the normal Toyota one. So I'll show you what I did when we get out there to make that other radiator work. And I'll keep that one as a spare. But I got this one from Radiator Barn, and it costs about $30 more. It comes with a lifetime warranty, and most people on Yodotech are real happy with it. It's getting dark. I'm doing this after class, and it's like 5:05 right now, so technically the sun's set. But let's get started. First step is crawl underneath, remove the skid plate. That's off, so now I'm just going to put my bucket underneath this drain hose and drain out the coolant. Some would say just take off that lower radiator hose and that'll be easier, but I gotta make sure I capture all of it. I'm afraid I'd make a mess. And someone else will say, well, you should use new coolant. Well, this is new coolant. So yeah, I'll just start draining that. Once that starts dribbling, then I'll take off this lower hose and get the rest of it out. I'm just afraid of making a mess. You want to do this with the engine cool or cold. You don't want to be burning yourself to do this job. And also to make it drain faster, you can take off the radiator cap, which I have already done. Let's make sure that this fits on my new radiator, since that's something that Advanced Auto Parts couldn't do. Nope, come on. And yes, it does. Sweet. While it's draining, you can take off your intake pipe. Once the coolant level is dropped far enough, you can take off the upper radiator hose. At this point, you can remove the overflow hose, and you could also remove your fan shrouds. Mine's not on here right now because I never put it on after I repaired that leak. And once we get this radiator out, I'll show you how I did that. Alright, well, that's just dribbling now, so I'm going to close that and take off the lower hose. Alrighty. There we go. Alright, so I got that draining now. Start at the low light. Okay, well, now you see one bolt there, and you can see the hole where the second one goes. I already took the lower two out, so the lower one on each side. There's where the lower one was, and here's where the upper one is. So I'm going to take out this side so that it'll tilt down and get all that coolant out of the radiator, hopefully. So let's do that. Okay, so drop it down there. Oh, and even more is coming out now. Sweet. So there's what we did. We just let it pivot on that last top bolt there, and it all drains down. So we'll let that go for a few more seconds, and then take this last bolt out. Sweet, it's out. That's not the radiator, that's the condenser for the air conditioner. So here's the radiator. Let me show you what I did to repair it. I ripped some fins out around the tubes that were leaking. And then I took a wire wheel on drill and got them down to bare metal. And then I just heated them up with a propane torch and touched them with solder around where the leaks were. And you can see there some of the bubbles of solder there. And it was right down that seam. I just soldered it, and it worked great. I mean, it still leaks a little bit. Here's on the front side, and you can see it's wet. See that? Well, it's just wet a little bit, which means that it's obviously not perfect. There's another spot up there, and yeah, so this radiator wasn't looking too hot. Let's see where else it was leaking here. Up there you can see some goo. So I don't know what brand this is. I can't tell you not to use it because I don't know what it is. And there's some more goo. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to keep this as a spare because it's not totally, it's not busted. I mean, if that one got smashed and I needed a radiator, this one would work. But yeah, it's not really safe to drive, I don't think, especially with that whole system there I got going. I'm just going to grab my new one and drop it right in. Bolt it up the same way as the other one. Alright, so I got all 4 bolts tightened down there. And before you go crazy tightening stuff up and hooking up hoses, the fan shroud goes on next. You can't really get it on once that top hose is on, so don't do that yet. Now this thing bolted up great to the body. I must say it bolted up better than this original Radiator. It used to be just kind of tight getting the last bolt in. This one went in easy, all four. The only piece of fitment that doesn't quite work perfect is that little drain cock down there bumps into the fan shroud, but that's nothing a little trimming can't do. So you can see the little notch I put right in there. And that's just to mark it, and then I'll just cut a little bit around there and be able to drain the radiator whenever I need to. Alright, so we got the Radiator fan shroud on. It fit pretty good. I think it was more on the part of the fan shroud not fitting than it was the Radiator. The only thing I had to do was notch out that bottom piece for the petcock, but you know, no big deal. Aftermarket parts, never going to be the same as OEM. So at this point you can go ahead and make sure that all 8 bolts are tightened, the 4 for the fan shroud, 4 for the radiator, then start hooking up hoses. So bam, you're done. Alright, so I got the top and bottom radiator hoses on. Intake hose is bolt is on and tightened down. At this point you're ready to fill it up with coolant. Alright kids, this is why bigger is better, because that's my funnel. And I gotta pour a 5-gallon bucket into there. Alright, let's do it. Alright, I'm actually going to record pouring this into a funnel, so I think you might like that.
Do not spill it all over my hands.
You might want to roll your sleeve up.
Go ahead, buddy.
Rotate it that way, yeah.
Slow. 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 Beautiful. It's a little warm.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no!
Yeah. That's good enough for now. Yeah, so you can see we got some in there. We're going to start it up, let it fill up the motor. You want to start this up, run it with the heater on high, and run it until the thermostat opens, and then shut it off and check the level. Alright, so here we are a couple days later. Coolant level hasn't dropped, so I guess we're good. Hope this video helps.